Yo, what's up? It's Havoc here. This is a video for my full low-life Essence Drain build, and I'll be going over why I believe you should play this build. There will be a link below in the description for the entire guide, as well as a level video. Here is some of the gameplay of Essence Drain. Some pros of playing this build are, it's one of the best league starting builds. It can be one of the safest builds in the game, as you can kill enemies without having them touch you. We can kill enemies through proximity shield without getting close. We can blow up any legion with 2 spells. We are capable of running every map mod, even unidentified ones with no problems, and it's also friendly for new players. Like every other build, there are some weaknesses. Here are the cons. Casting Contagion and Essence Drain can take some time to get used to. Monsters with the mod Nearby Allies are unable to die are annoying for us as we cannot spread our damage as nothing dies. We need levels on gems to have any good DPS. We cannot kill bosses instantly as we have a damage over time spell. We cannot tank hard hits or slams, which means we cannot be too careless. Here is a random Wave 20 Simulacrum that was ran. Right away we run into an Archnemesis, a monster where other allies cannot die. This guy needs to die. I try to use Vol Righteous Fire and Vol Blight, which usually does the job, but it doesn't work this time. I run around and he starts to taunt me, and I imagine him saying something along the lines of, "You can't kill my friends." So I channel Blight and I cast Contagion constantly, and after about 20 seconds of doing this, he dies. Starting out with this build is a great idea. It is super fun. It has some of the best clear in the game as well as being relatively cheap. However, starting low life is not easy to do because of a few key items. To accomplish being low life, first we need 2 uniques, Chavaron's Wrappings and Presence of Chaula. At the start of a league, these are usually very expensive. If you can't afford these uniques, I would recommend going CI, which is Chaos Inoculation. I have a CI version below in the description, and it is very similar to the low life build. Now the villain of the Simulacrum appears, Kosis. I make sure to dodge his deathly attacks while I cast skills in this order. Wither Totems, Contagion, Essence Drain, while channeling Blight on his back for maximum damage, as well as to keep the infusion buff up. After channeling Blight for some time, having the support gem Infused Channeling linked with Blight gives us a buff called Infusion. What this does is it increases the damage we do and reduces the damage we take from a few sources. I channel Blight almost every couple seconds while running around, only to keep the buff up. This is Path of Building. If you don't know what Path of Building is, it's a third-party program where you can import or export your build from your Path of Exile profile. So if you hear anything about a Pastebin, it's just somebody's build imported from this program. I have multiple Pastebins on the guide posted, so I'm going to go here, right-click this, copy link address, go back to Path of Building, click New, Import Export Build at the top left, import from Pastebin, paste the link in there, import, and import again, and this is the full build. This is the 100 passive skill tree. Let me start off by saying to actually be low life, we need some specific aura reservation nodes to be able to use all of our auras. These are the passives to look for. They are typically called reduced mana reservation, but there are some big ones like this called charisma, or this one over here called sovereignty. If you ever have health or mana issues, it's probably the clarity or the blood magic gem giving you an issue. You can check your unreserved life and mana over here on the left to make sure everything works. If your life is ever negative, the text will be in red. Try to lower clarity's level. You can do this by selling the gem alongside with a scouring orb, or make sure blood magic is the correct level. I keep blood magic level 16 only because I have 99 strength. There is no other reason I keep blood magic this level. Let me go over the passive tree a little more in depth. In this tree, we went for as much energy shield and damage as we possibly could get for the lowest amounts of points. The damage from being low life comes from this passive here called Pain Attunement. The other passive I would say is the most important is this one called Zealot's Oath. This one allows our Essence Drain to regenerate our energy shield instead of our health, which is very important because this is an energy shield based build. You will also notice we pick up some minion damage passives. That is because we grab Spiritual Aid. What this passive does is that anything that increases minion damage by 1%, think of it as your damage is increased by 1%. For the Ascendancies, we start off with Patient Reaper from the normal Labyrinth. From the Cruel Lab, we grab Ghost Dance. From the Merciless, we take Escape Artist for the stun immune, while having Ghost Shrouds active. The final, we take Prolonged Pain as our last one. However, once we get a Presence of Chaula and we become full low life, we remove Escape Artist and we grab a Swift Killer. To do this, you need 5 refund points per Ascendancy, so you need a total of 10 refund points, or 10 Regret Orbs. So now I will go over the skill gems that are used. Here is the 6th link that is used for Essence Drain. We put our main gems in the weapon because the bow has +2 level of socketed gems on it, meaning whatever we socket in here gets increased levels. Side note, you do not need to use awakened gems. This is just for those who want to maximize the build to the fullest potential. So let's start with the 6th link. The gems here will be Swift Affliction, Essence Drain, Controlled Destruction, Efficacy, Empower, and Void Manipulation. So next we use a 5-link chest. Yes, 5 links, not 6. The gems will be Contagion, Intensify, Increased Area of Effect, Faster Casting, and Arcane Surge, level 9. This is important. The reason we keep it level 9 is so we only have to cast 1 Contagion for Arcane Surge to come up, so every Essence Drain has the buff. The last gem is a Vol Righteous Fire in the body armor. The gloves are 4-link and they will be Clarity, level 10, Ball Discipline, Blood Magic, level 16, and Flesh and Stone. So next the helm is 3-link and this will be Wither, Spell Totem, and multiple totems. The 4th will be Flame Dash. Make sure this is not linked, otherwise your totems will be casting Flame Dash and you will not be able to use it. The last setup we use is 2 links, but I have them in a 4-link, and this will be Zealotry, Malevolence, Ball Blight, and Infused Channeling. For endgame bosses like Cyrus and Uber Elder, I removed 2 gems, Clarity and Flesh and Stone, and I replaced them with Summon Skitterbots for more damage. So now I will go over the gear that I am currently using. Really, the gear is nothing special. The only thing that cost the most currency was this bow, which was a 1 million damage upgrade from the previous bow, so it definitely was worth it. The only required items are the Chevron's wrappings and Presence of Chayula. Other than that, there are a lot of options. There will be a crafting video below in the description on how to craft some of this gear. I'm going to start off with this bow. I actually bought this bow, but it's not too difficult to craft it from scratch. It just will cost you at least 6 to 7 exalted orbs minimum. The quiver is just a basic Soul Strike quiver. If you are rich, the best corruption on this is Skills Chain plus 1 time. However, it's usually listed for 7+ exalted orbs. Let's just say I would not spend that much on this unless I was swimming in currency. So before I get more into the gear, most of the off pieces are just as high as Energy Shield as I could possibly find, as well as fully capping my resistance. My helm that I currently have is pretty expensive. I crafted this one myself and I was very happy. The body armor, of course, Chevron's wrappings. The gloves that I have are high Energy Shield and just to cap my resistance. If you wanted to max out your damage, I would suggest buying a Chaos Damage over time multiplier, fingerless silk gloves for the most damage. The boots I have are movement speed, high Energy Shield, resistance, as well as aspect of the spider crafted on them. The amulet is Presence of Chayula, anointed with tranquility. So the rings are a little tricky to explain. I have 1 ring to completely cap my resistance, and the other ring to give me enough strength to use blood magic and empower, which the magic number for the strength seemed to be 49, and I got as much resistance on it as I could. The belt is just a unique baited breath belt. I bought a corrupted one with the Malevolence has increased aura effect for the most damage. So now I wanted to go over the flasks that I'm currently using. These are very important. First, we use a quartz flask so we can phase and walk through enemies. It also has immunity to freeze and chill so we could not be stunned by being frozen. The next flask is just a basic Quicksilver flask with extra movement speed so we are very fast. Third flask is a damage flask, the Witchfire Brew Stibnite flask. This is a big flask for damage. This flask gives us a Despair Curse aura around us, which is a huge damage increase. It also has a 100% increased evasion rating and creates a smoke cloud, which is great. The fourth flask is a Jade flask with immunity to curses on it, so curses do not affect us while this flask is active. The last flask is a basic sulfur flask with immunity to bleeding on it. I just want to point out that you can get immunity to freezing on your sulfur and immunity to bleeding on your quartz flask. It doesn't matter as long as you have the immunities suggested. For the bandits, we kill all of them for the 2 passive skill points. For the pantheons, the major god we use is Soul of Solaris. For the minor god, we use Soul of Shikari to be immune to poison. So that's it for my low life build. I hope you enjoyed. I stream on Twitch. The link is down below. Stop by and say hi. Also, leave a like and comment your thoughts about this video. See you next time, Exile.